Zippity bum 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 bada ba dee dum bada da da dum zum bada ba bum bum bada ba boom. All right. I do believe we are up and running and live. Hello, travelers of the internet! Welcome back to Guardian Studios, or if you are new to the channel, hey there, welcome to ya. My name is JGardo1, and I am your host, your guide, and your humble bard into the worlds virtual and fantastical. And I will see you all. And I am very pleased, I am very pleased to be able to welcome you all back to the channel, or in the case of newcomers, welcome you fresh to the Guardian Studios experience. I don't know what I started to say there, but that was weird. That was weird. Anyway, good to see y'all. Hello, Leo. Thank you for posting the rules, my dude. Always appreciate you doing that. Alright, so what are we doing today? What are we going to be doing today? We are going to be working on a problem that I've been really starting to notice. Okay, I'll go ahead and say it. I've been noticing this problem for a while, but it's starting to really bug me, this problem. It is the problem of storage. I mean, look at my house. I got chests over here, chests over there, here a chest, there a chest, everywhere a chest. And this ain't even a farm. This ain't old McDonald's farm. This is a mess. And a lot of it is due to all the cobblestone and stuff that I have mined out from this place while I was building my hobbit hole. It is insane the amount of stuff that has piled up in this place, in all the chests, just from digging it all out. I need to fix this problem immediately. I don't like having chest monsters going on around the place. I can't stand that. So, what I plan on doing is fixing the problem. Now, how am I going to do that? I can imagine some of you are probably wondering, how is he going to fix the problem? Seems like a pretty big one. Well, the problem is the storage. The big part of the problem is, as I say, the massive amount of chests and full of cobblestone, deep slate, tough, and all those other bits and bobs that I need to get out of here. How am I going to clean it all up? I'm not. But I'm going to have someone else do it. Namely, a newly added entity that I am eager to have be part of the world. That's right, you've probably figured it out by now. We are going to build some storage rooms and then bring in the copper golems. And the copper golems will take care of our storage problem. At least that's the hope. That is the hope. Whether or not it'll actually work out, I have no idea. But I intend to give it a solid shot. I gotta figure out where I put all my building materials first, though, because there is a bit that I need to fix inside the house. Oh, I know where my building materials are. Just remembered. They're on the ship. That's where they are. They're aboard ship. I gotta adjust that front sail. It doesn't look right with the way it's made right now. It's also missing a block, which I've got to fix at some point. You know, I have an idea of how I could change this main sail to actually look even better. I may implement that plan at some point soon. Yep, there's my building materials. Or at least some of them. I actually don't need the spruce as much, but I do need the birch. I need birch, I need oak, and I'm gonna need dark oak. That's the other wood type that I need. I was thinking of using the ship as like a storage room sort of thing, but the more I thought about it, the more I think I'd rather have that be like a third, like a secondary house in this area, kind of. So if I'm coming in from the sea, I can jump off, jump into the ship, and take a nap. So the question is, where did I put all my dark oak? I'm not finding it, and that's confusing. Where, oh where, oh where, oh where, oh where? Where, oh where's my dark? Where, oh where's the dark oak? Where, oh where is dark oak? Where can that stuff be? Got a hunch that it might be up here in front of the guest house. Yep, there it is. I'm remembering now that I had actually built storage rooms in my previous hobbit hole over on our last world. I built the storage rooms specifically to make it so that I could have a lot of storage for copper golems to have access to. It's a pity those storage rooms will never be able to be used. But, nice thing is, we can make similar storage rooms in this hobbit hole. But before I do that, I want to make sure this chamber here is properly set up. this stuff in here for the moment. And let's get digging. How many blocks deep is that? 6. Where did... Aha! Here's my building stuff. Good. Ah. That may not be big enough. It wasn't big enough. Hmm. Buzz-dee-da-da-da-da-do-do. I'm gonna need to go out to the ship and get some more of my building supplies. That ship really does look pretty good. Again, that front sail needs some fixing. I think it needs to just be flat. Yeah, I'm serious about making sure I've got all the storage I need for all the stuff I'm going to be working with down here. It is going to present one small problem. I'm going to have to make sure that I've got back here sectioned off apart from everything else. I'm also realizing this room is going to have to expand out that way. For anybody wondering why, I intend to have water elevators at that side of every mine chamber, every mine hub chamber, so that I can rush up to the surface in a hurry. And possibly have another one that will have hoppers waiting at the top to receive the items that I've collected. Because I might set up a water elevator to take everything that I've mined up to the surface to drop it into a copper chest or two, so that copper golems are automatically moving about to put things away for me. I might do that. Might do it, might not do it. I'm not entirely sure. It would probably be smart, though. It would probably be smart. That way, the copper golems can be up here, grabbing the stuff and taking it where it's supposed to go, while I'm still down below doing my mining. But I do think I'm going to have to put some kind of an airlock type door somewhere around here. Probably at part of the stairway here. Either here or here, so that I can block them off from going where I don't want them to go. I'm also thinking I might have to put a copper chest here for me to drop stuff off in here for the mass storage. That might actually be a good idea. Yeah, that might be a good idea. How many chests is that down below so far? Alright, that's 11 double chests on each row in this storeroom alone. And I am very tempted to expand this. I'm thinking this might end up being the block room, or the junk block room, and then over there I can set up a room for silk-touched ores as well as valuables, like redstone, diamonds, things like that. That might actually be smart. In fact, that would be smart, come to think of it. So I could set up another row up here for sure. With the current setup, the copper golems can walk up here, walk across the chests, and drop items off. I mean, if they're following the planks. If they're not following the planks, then they can still drop stuff off by walking up here and clunk, 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 clunk. Just looking for wherever they need to put stuff. Or looking for wherever they need to go to be able to put stuff. Oh, ow. Oh, that hurt. I feel like I just had to do that. I had to do that. That was fun. Alright, let's see. One of the things I gotta make sure I do is label these chests so that I'll know what I'm dealing with in here. Which I realized after I placed those ones that that wasn't really going to work where I had them. Yeah, I had a feeling about that. Too close. Question. If I put trap doors on top, do I still face the same issue? Nope. Cool. With an army of copper golems, I will be able to rapidly put away anything that I need stored down in the mine area. The problem is going to be making it so that they can't get out of the mining area. They can't get out of the area down below where the mines are. If they can get out of there, that's going to throw everything off, because then they can try to roam around and throw stuff into any chest that's upstairs if they wanna. And I don't want them to be able to do that, because that could mess up everything. That could mess it all up. Go. So again, so far there's 22 double chests in here, ready to be filled with items. I'm seriously thinking this is going to be the rock room. This is where all the different kinds of stone and dirt and gravel are going to go, as well as flint, because I know I'm going to end up getting a lot of flint. I usually do. And then across the way, we'll set up the valuables room, where we'll have chests for silk-touched ores, as well as fortuned ores of all the kinds. I'd be half tempted to set up some auto-crafters to, fill up the machine, or fill up crafters with all the different gems and such, and have them be turned to blocks before they're moved down a layer to where another copper golem can pick them up, pull them out, whatever you want to say it, and put them into chests for storing. That is a thought. I might go that route. We'll see. Which, in that event, I could split this room that I'm going to do over here into two sections. One doorway leads to where all the jewels and stuff are put, to be pumped into the system to be compressed. And this other one leads down to where they're going to be compressed. In both cases, I'd probably have to put in some kind of doors or something to keep the copper golems inside from going where they shouldn't. But if I set this up in the right way, I'll have space for everything. Everything. That'd be nice. That would be so nice. I'd also have to have a spot or two for slime. Because obviously, we're going to get a lot of slime from down here when we're at one of the hubs. Right now, I'm just worried about the rocks. I will have to get a bunch of signs and blocks and make it so that these tubes are properly enclosed and water won't flow out where it's not supposed to. That's part of why it's so slow to go up and so much faster to go down, is because this is not all source blocks in this tube. There we go. And I think what I'm going to do over here is set up 2 rows of these things. Actually, I may... Yeah, I'm not going to do slime over here. I think slime is going to go over in the valuables area, What I need these last 2 rows for is going to be deep slate and stone. The silk-touched ones. Because I know I'm going to get a lot of cobble deep slate. I know I'm going to get a lot of cobblestone. But I'm sure I'm going to get some deep slate and stone as well. So we're going to end up having to set those up too. So let me go see. I've got a silk touch pick, I think. I think I do. We can get those materials real quick. Add them onto the setup. Oh, wait a minute. Wandering trader. What have you got for sale, man? You got anything good? Anything good? Anything good? Nope. Nope. Everything you got, I can go get myself. I'm not gonna pay you an expensive price for coral or anything. None of that is happening. I just want to double check. Do I have either of the materials in here that I was talking about needing to get? Nope. Nah, it's the cobbled stuff. I'll probably set up a similar thing in the mines at in the Nether. Set up a chamber where I can dump all the stuff into a copper chest and let the copper golems sort it out. See, it is super fast to go down because it's not water sources. It's a flowing water stream that's just going straight down. I just realized I needed more than one of each. Dimwit. Whoop. Nice. Now, part of my plan in all this is that eventually I will... that bottom row is going to fill up. When it does, I'll put in a hopper connecting each chest to the one below it, corresponding to the same item. That way, it becomes a matter of, oh, whatever goes in the upper chest can go into the bottom chest. So if I'm pulling from the bottom chest, whatever is in the upper chest can fill in and replace what I had to take out. And now that that storage room is taken care of, or at least that part of it is taken care of, I could start dumping all the items that I have that correlate to those chests into a copper chest, a double copper chest, bring in a bunch of copper golems and let them sort it all out for me. And since there's 2 double chests, the copper golems will have an easier time accessing somewhere to put the stuff. I am tempted to put in another row of chests, though, and have them have a different lineup of items. Maybe have them be mob drops, like hostile mob drops. Gunpowder, rotten flesh, bones, spider eyes, string, ender pearls. It would be good to have somewhere to put a bunch of ender pearls and pull them together. But there's not nearly enough hostile mob drops. Well, there's also phantom membrane, so I guess that adds one more. I could have a spot for arrows, too. Let me see here. Chest. Do I have any extra chests up here? I don't think so. I think I have to go grab one. There we go. Chest. I'm still thinking slime is going to go over there in the valuable section, because that's one that I can set up an auto-compacting for, because that can be compacted. None of the other mob drops, as far as I know, can be compacted in a way that you can then reverse. Because who's to say I won't need bones in their normal bone state? If you convert them to bone blocks, which you can't even do that. No, you have to convert them to bone meal and then convert them to bone blocks. See? Nice way to store bone meal, but doesn't work for bones. So, let's put this here. I could do a row of 11, potentially, but I want to see just how many items I would have to have room for to make it so that all hostile mob drops would go in a row in that storeroom. With the exception, potentially, of slime. Not worried about specific kinds of arrows. Just thought of something. Gas tiers. I'd have to have a spot for gas tiers at some point, wouldn't I? Witches can drop sugar and redstone and glass bottles, but I'm not going to bother classifying those as hostile mob drops because redstone I can collect from mining, and sugar I get from farming sugar cane. So, doesn't feel like that needs to be put in its own classification like that. All the different wood types and wood blocks and pieces I'll put in a different storeroom somewhere else, I think. Who knows? I might make this subscriber room have a couple of utility rooms built off of it. Like maybe have vertical water elevators that I can go up or down, and when I go down, I can go to a chamber that's meant specifically for storing tons upon tons of the different kinds of saplings and logs and the building blocks derived from them. That's an idea, anyway. And it might also have give me another way to access the valuables room to have that kind of set up. I'll think about it, but I'm not entirely sold on the idea yet. What was it doing? Oh yeah, looking for any other hostile mob drops. Let's see. Zombies drop rotten flesh. Creepers only drop gunpowder. Phantoms, phantom membrane. Endermen for ender pearls. And then spiders drop these two things, and skeletons drop these two things. Anything else they drop is just other stuff. I guess this would be... I guess I would just have a row of 8. So I would take 3 chests out of the equation for that row. And it wouldn't have expansion. It would just be 1 double chest each for those specific items. I gotta figure out a way to keep the feathers from coming up here, because I don't want feathers in my system. My food system. I don't want feathers in the middle of it. Actually, come to think of it, Nautilus shells. Nautilus shells are a mob drop, so technically I could put them in that row and have it be 9 chests. Means 1 more chest that I have to make sure is managed, but it's organization. It is an important thing. And if I set up storerooms in both dimensions for stuff like this, I'll have an easier time compacting everything down and knowing where I need to go to get the things I want for certain projects. I was going down there as if I already had these chests installed. Wow. Alright, so that... yeah, that covers it. That does, that covers it. That covers everything that would spawn and become a problem. I like it. I do, I like it. Tridents are a weapon or tool thing, so they don't really count as a mob drop, per se. Especially not since I now know that I can get them from trial chambers. So, yeah, that adds on to that. If it's a weapon, it doesn't count as a mob drop specifically. Bows, tridents, tools, armor, they don't count as a mob drop to me. To me, that's equipment, and equipment would have its own place to be stored, sorted through, and processed into either fuel, in the case of most bows. They just get chucked into a fuel system for a smelter, or just get sent off to be disposed of. In the case of like leather, iron, or chainmail armor that I don't need. Actually, iron, chainmail, and gold armor that I don't need, I would probably send off to a super smelter to be smelted down into nuggets. Ah, snap. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta get some water. My supply has run out. Alright, I am back. Sorry about that. Alright, so I think I've determined I do want to do a row of 9 chests for mob drops. It seems like a good idea to me. Because all those mobs, except for phantoms, I may encounter in the underground. So I might as well have room to store their drops. Oh, come on, stop trying to put... Stop making me put that stuff there. There we go. Grab some item frames. Good, good. Excellent. Excellent. Progress is booming. Right along. Forgive me a villainous chuckle. Progress. Must be daytime. This room is almost done, and I like it. Sweet! I am so happy about this. Ooh! You know, a new feature got added to the game that I have yet to actually look into. Where's my keyboard? There it is. Alright. Shelf. How do I make myself a shelf? I've got to know. I have a feeling it takes this. Yep, it does. Oh. Huh. Well, that's not too bad. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. That actually makes me very happy. I finally have a reason to make strip spruce. Now, in all seriousness, what makes me happy about it is it's a recipe I can work with. interesting sound when they break. But now I can set things up so that I have even more functionality around my home. Yeah, I had to do that. I had to. That was a moment of indulgence. Now, if I do this, I do believe... Yes! Oh my gosh, that is cool! Oh, that is cool! That is satisfying! Holy moly, that is incredibly satisfying. I can sit here and do that all day! That is so neat! I love that! I love that! Wow! Oh man, I could set... Ooh! I could set up sets of tools for specific tasks to be done in the Nether. Or in the end, when I go to do the end. I could have armor sets. I could have an armor set for the Nether. One for the overworld. I'm loving this. It's brand spanking new and I'm already in love with it. This is awesome. Wow. Okay. Okay, Mojang, you hit it out of the park, people. You hit it out of the park with this one. That is awesome. That is freaking awesome. I love it. I do. I sincerely, truly love that. That is so cool. Yes! Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Alright, where's that dark oak that I was working with? Oh, I've got it on me. Good! Oops. Alright, so there's a reason I'm putting this here. I'm going to make an easy way to keep the copper golems from leaving this area down here, because I don't want them coming out. I don't want them getting out of there. It does occur to me that I'm going to need a way to open the doors from this side, but I want to put some iron doors here. I know how to do it. I know how to set it up. I've got the perfect solution. Because I have found out, and I probably mentioned it before, I found out on my Twitch world that you have to make sure that they can't get to... You have to not use wooden doors if you want to keep them out of specific areas. No 1 block tall gaps. No wooden doors. Otherwise, they can move from one part of your build to another that you may not want them to go into. So what I'm gonna do is set up buttons and pressure plates and iron doors to make it so I can get out of this mine area, but the copper golems cannot. Whoops. Alright, that plan may not work so well. It's not ideal, but it works. I'm going with buttons because I want to make sure the copper golems can't get out of that room. If I put pressure plates and they somehow decide, oh, hey, wait, there's chests beyond these iron doors. And there's pressure plates. I can walk right through. I don't want that kind of situation. If that were to happen, it would be a pain in my neck, and I don't want that to be the case. Does it slow me down a little? Yes, but this section should be safe from any kind of intrusion at this point. And breaking and loyalty. I gotta get impaling on one of these at some point so that I can add that to that thing. I am kind of tempted to add in 2 chests down in that one section that will have slowness and poison arrows so that I can have those be ready to go when I need them, but at the same time, I don't think I'm going to do that. So bottom row is going to be all my extra tools. I'm going to put my goat horn there as well. Okay, that's kind of cool. That is really cool. I love that I can set that up with hotbar swapping. That's going to be a good reason to set up multiple armor sets and tool sets. I can have a tool set specifically for if I'm going in the nether. Another for if I'm going to the end. Yeah, that could be smart. That could be a good idea. And then if I know I'm going to go flying, I can set up the system to have it be that it will let me swap in rockets into my inventory. Or into my hotbar. Yeah, I like that. I do, I like that. It does seem like it will only do... I am a little curious how I can make it swap in and out more of my hotbar, though. Or less of my hotbar. Okay, so... Oh, I get it. I think I kind of get it. So it specifically looks from right to left in terms of what it's going to try to take. Huh. So if I shifted all my tools over like that, it would take... Yeah. Yeah, I got it right. Yep, that's how it works. Okay. That's kind of weird, but... at the same time, it's kind of cool. Kind of like that. But it's also a little bit confusing. But I could still set up so that I've got specific tools ready to be swapped in and out in different places. So I could set up a set of mining tools. Sword, pick, shovel. Specifically for if I'm going into the underground, because I know I'm going to be dealing with more undead down there than anything. Or else I can make it so that I've got picks. I've got my 2 picks. I've got... yeah, I can have it be silk and fortune picks, a sword, and then a shovel. Yeah, I can figure this out. I can figure it out. This is gonna be good. I'm liking this. I'm liking that this feature is now in the game. Just gonna be a matter of experimentation. So what I'm thinking is... I can set up a tool set in here that is... or a hotbar setup that is... food. Here, let me turn these back off so I can illustrate. Food... torches, full stack, which actually, if I put these levers below the thing, it should still work, right? Yep. So then I can have hoppers up here refilling food and torches over here. But I can have food, torches, silk pick, fortune pick, sword, shovel, and then 3 open spaces. So that I can go like, oh, here I am, I'm ready to go mining. Swap. I go down, go mining, get all the stuff I want, come up here, dump all the stuff into a copper chest that I have collected, let it be sorted, and then I'm like, okay, ready to go back to my overworld set. Plop. And it just swaps out the 2 sets. And I can set up something similar in the nether. I go to the nether, I'm either... Either I set it up so that it's inside the nether where I go to get them swapped, or I have them set up in a chamber outside of the nether, connected to my nether mine. And I'm like, okay, ready to go mining in the nether. Swap out a nether mining set, which might include specific armor on a second hotbar thing. Ooh, that's a question. This is just the hotbar, right? It's just the main hotbar? I'm definitely gonna have to do some experimenting. I hadn't actually tried anything out with the shelves yet since getting all this. So this is kind of new territory for me. This is me breaking new ground on a new feature. Or at least a feature that's entirely new to me. There we go. You know what I just thought of? I could set up a mechanism up here. I could set up a simple thing up here with a copper chest right there, a barrel here, hopper there feeding down into it, feeding from the barrel down to the copper chest, and then the copper golems could pick up whatever's in there if they can detect the chest and scoop up the goods to put away down here. That is a thought, and it's a good thought. It's a thought that I like. I do. I like that idea. I'm really glad I decided to see how the shelves work, because that turned out to be a really good investment of my time. Unfortunately, the second storage room that I wanted to build, I haven't done yet. But, hey, we're figuring out shelves on the side, so I'd say it's worth it. But yeah, I am thinking that for the Hobbit hole, I do want to have my valuables be sorted into a system that will automatically process them. Potentially, anyway. Question. Do copper golems worry about barrels? Do they try to put stuff into barrels? I may have to test that. I may have to see if I can test that between sessions. But I think that for right now, that is going to do it for this session for the time being. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, please be sure to leave likes and comments. Subscribe if you haven't already done it. Check out the About page for links to other pages with more content from yours truly. Share the channel with your friends who think they might enjoy the content too. And of course, do not forget to turn on notifications by smacking the bell so that you don't miss the next stream or video. And with that being said, thank you again for watching. I'm JGuard01, your guide, your bard, and your humble host into the worlds virtual and fantastical. And I'll see you all next time right here on Guardian Studios. Bye!